Evening all.
Hi Eddie, how are you?
Good. All set for another evening of it, yeah. So all the chatty ones are in tonight. Oh, dear. None of those guys, no?
Nothing out of the ordinary, anyway.
Oh, you know what? I thought I was on mute there for a second.
It's all right. I was on mute.
So how was your weekend? Busy? Quiet?
Mine wasn't bad. I wasn't working, so it didn't make much odds to me. But
It's well for you.
I could have done with working.
Anyone listen to the pre-record yesterday?
Yep.
Find it helpful? Are you more confused now than we were before you started it?
I don't know. My level of confusion is kind of going down a little bit now, so I'm happier.
That's good to know. That's good to know. Evening, Tom. How are you?
Gone. Not too bad.
Oh, excuse me. How was your weekend, Tom? Were you working or what?
I'm coming off 5 night shifts in a row. I'm absolutely wrecked.
Lovely. Should be awake half the night, so.
Yeah, no, I'm back in. Back in now tomorrow and Friday, and that's me off then for up to 10 days.
Oh, happy days.
You do your penance before you go on holidays.
Well, don't I know it? Don't I know it? Is it busy?
It's not too bad. It's picking up now with the weather, but no, other than that.
Isn't it amazing this day and age that weather can still affect alarms and all that kind of stuff?
Well, sure, like that, even the sun affects them. The heat makes the the metal window frames expand, and that does set them off.
I know.
So it doesn't matter what it is, what the weather's like. Everything affects them. But
We'll just give it another minute or two and we'll crack on then, yeah. So how are you getting all done? You must be all have your portfolios ready to submit, yeah?
6 minutes ago.
6 minutes ago.
Did you get a date for the presentation portfolio or the skills demo?
I have, and it's the last 2 days of the thing. I think I have it down for it's either the 17th and 18th or the 18th and 19th
December.
of November.
Right.
You on holidays?
I am.
Okay. Right, we might be able to sort something out for you, Tom.
I know. I'll be back
you-
with holidays in between. But yeah, if it's due for the 17th and 18th, yeah, it's fine.
What I'll do is I'll do a rota. Obviously your presentation is for half an hour, so I'll give you each kind of 45 minutes between everything. So you should be okay.
Right.
There's what I did with the last group, I did it in the evening time, but there's only 9 of those left. So I was able to do that over 2 evenings. It's far too many to do it in the evening time, you know what I mean? I just wouldn't, unless you fancy, coming online about 2 o'clock in the morning. No? No?
I got not with work. God knows what state I'd arrive at 2 o'clock in the morning.
All right.
2 o'clock in the morning live from the Cliffs of Moher or someplace like that, probably.
Live from the Cliffs of Moher. Okay, I think we'll just crack on, guys, will we?
as well.
May as well, sure. All right, so tonight we are talking about, so obviously in the pre-record we discussed, or I discussed, the change of management theories. Tonight we'll discuss learning outcome 11, use strategies to recognize and cope with stress, setbacks and workplace pressure. We'll also discuss change of management and skills and your skills demonstration. So, even on the best days, stress can prevent us being fully focused and doing our best work. Too much of it can lead to burnout, disengagement, more 6 days, strained relationships in the workplace. Agree, disagree? How many of you get stressed at work?
Depends on where I'm working.
Depends on where you're working.
If
Okay.
it's the council offices or stuff like that or whatever, nah, never. Courthouse and stuff like that, yeah, you would get a little bit,
Okay.
but nothing too major.
All right. Okay, that's good to know. So no one else gets stressed out at work. You're all stress-free at work.
Depends how the shift goes. Depends who you have on working with you. If you have a competent team on with you, you tend to have a hell of a lot less stress than if you have one or two people that just aren't pulling their weight.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so work stress has significant health consequences. From the relatively benign, like getting more colds and flus, to potentially serious, such as heart disease and metabolic syndrome. While stress at work is common, finding a low stress job is hard, if not impossible. A more realistic approach is to adopt effective coping strategies to reduce stress at your current job. Here are some stress management techniques you can try if you're finding it hard to cope with work stress. So start your day off right. So does this sound familiar to anyone? After scrambling to get the kids fed off to school, dodging traffic and combating road rage and gulping down the coffee in lieu of a healthy breakfast, many people arrive to work already stressed. This makes them more reactive to stress in the workplace. Sound familiar to anyone?
Well, apart from the kids part of it, yeah.
Everything else, okay, no bother. Okay, you might be surprised how affected by workplace stress you are when you have a stressful morning. When you start off a day with planning, good nutrition, and a positive attitude, you might find that the stress of your job rolls off your back more easily. Conflict amongst co-workers can be difficult to escape, so it's a good idea to avoid conflict at work as much as you can. Don't gossip, don't share too many of your personal opinions about religion or politics, and steer clear of colourful office humour. Where possible, try to avoid people who don't work well with others. If conflict finds you anyway, make sure you know how to handle it appropriately. Okay, gossip. We're gossipers here.
This group, God no.
All right. Again, yeah, don't share too many of your personal opinions or religion or politics, and try and stay clear of colourful office humour. I'm sure you know what I mean when I'm talking about that. Again, try to avoid people who don't work well with others. I think that's easy enough because they don't want to be around any people anyway, so it'll be easy enough to avoid these people. Right. If you're naturally a disorganized person, planning ahead and staying organized can greatly decrease your stress at work. Being organized with your time means less rushing in the morning and avoid being late, as well as less hustling to get out at the end of the day. Keeping yourself organized can also mean avoiding the negative effects of clutter and be more efficient with your work. Okay, so really, okay, so all jokes aside, excuse me, how many of us actually get out of bed at the very last minute, grab a quick shower, grab a cup of coffee, into the car, and away we go? realistically or honestly,
Yeah.
on both aside. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at least Pat's been honest with me. How many of us get up in time so we can sit down and have a nutritious breakfast?
Yeah, I would.
You would, Keith.
Yeah,
Okay, very good. Anyone else?
arsing around the house for hours there before I go anywhere.
That's called insomnia.
Yeah, stress.
That's not called planning ahead. That's called insomnia.
Looking for me hair.
Okay, very good. So all right, so that's good. So you're up early in the morning. You can plan your day ahead. Have you sit down, have your break, relax before you get into the car and head off. Sounds good. Anyone else have a morning like that?
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. Yeah.
Well, you know, but I just go to work early and have my breakfast in work before I start.
So you have your breakfast. So you get into work early and have your breakfast before you start. Well, that's not that. That's I suppose that's good as well. That's good as well. Okay. So here's one for you, right? Another surprising stress at work is physical discomfort, often related to the way you perform most of your daily tasks, such as your desk. You might not notice your stress if you're sitting uncomfortable in an uncomfortable chair for just a few minutes. But if you practically live in that chair when you're at work, you might have a sore back and be more reactive to stress because of it. Even small things like noise in the office can be distracting and cause feelings of low-grade frustration. Do what you can. You do what you can to create a quiet, comfortable, and soothing workplace. So actually, here's an interesting one for when it comes to stress in the workplace. How many people do you think have been stressed out of their minds with the thoughts of going back into the office after being working at home for the last 18 months?
I'd say most of them.
Getting back into the rat race, sitting in traffic for hours every morning, sitting in a noisy office. Does anyone here when they're working in office does noise around you bug you when you're trying to work?
No, not really.
It must be just me. So
Depends on the noise.
okay. What else? Okay, what about when I suppose when you're sitting at work every day, are you sitting comfortably? Is your chair comfortable?
Never have a chair.
Ours have heated seats.
Heated seats.
It was definitely a nice touch.
Yeah.
Caddy vans aren't that comfortable.
Sorry, what's that?
Caddy vans aren't that comfortable.
Okay.
Oh well, that's one thing that definitely, like, we used to have a commercial Fiesta and it had a bulkhead in it. So like that one, 6'3", and if you got sent out in this car, there was no adjusting in the seat, and that would definitely lead to a stressful night, like driving around, knees crunched up and like back at a 90-degree angle.
Is it okay? So here's a question for you, Tom. Would you be actually stressed or just uncomfortable, or would it be do you think the uncomfortableness would lead to
the uncomfortableness would, make you more agitable,
irritable?
irritable. Yeah, sorry. And then the slightest things then start to agitate you, and I suppose the whole thing thrown together then can lead to stress when the night is out.
Okay, very good. Anyone else got anything to add now? Okay, multitasking. Apparently, according to women, men can't do it. Multitasking seems like a great way to get a lot done at once, but research has shown that our brains are not nearly as good as handling multiple tasks as we like to think they are. In fact, some research suggests that multitasking can actually hamper your productivity by reducing your comprehension, attention, and overall performance. So ladies, that's why men don't like to multitask. They like to do things right and correctly and not do half-ass jobs, 5 or 6 at a time. I'm going to pay for that when I know that. Okay, so what is multitasking? Working on one or two tasks simultaneously, switching back and forth from one thing to another, performing a number of tasks in rapid succession. In rapid succession. So seriously though, how can you actually focus on doing something if you're, if you're switching back all the time, or if you're doing one or more tasks at the same time?
You can. I find if you do that, that's 9 times out of 10 you're in work, you lose track of what you're doing, or you do something wrong. It's because you're trying to do too many things at once. You have to just say, look, I'm doing this now, I'm focused on this, and I'll do that in a minute.
Yeah. And do you think it's something that's expected of us that our employers expect us to do at work?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And we,
Split yourself in half.
and we do it, yeah.
Yeah, and the longer this pandemic goes on, the more and more tasks we're doing.
Okay. So right, multitasking takes a serious toll on productivity. Our brains lack ability to perform multiple tasks at the same time. In moments where we think we're multitasking, we're likely to be switching quickly from one task to task. Focusing on a single task is a much more effective approach for several reasons. What do you think those several reasons could be?
Focus.
Focus, exactly, yeah. I mean, if you're... Second. So, if you're focusing on one job at a time, you're going to get it done. You're going to be more efficient at what you're doing. If you're more efficient at what you're doing, there's less stress in it, really, isn't it? Right. Someone give me an example of something.
Locking a building.
Locking a building. Okay. So how would that be? So what would the multitask in that be? I'm assuming that was Tom.
Yeah, sometimes you can be on the phone while you're locking a building and you're talking to someone, or either general chit chat, or you're talking to someone through, a problem that they're having.
Okay.
And like that, you can tend to go and you'll walk up to a door with the intention of locking it, get distracted by the phone call, walk away from the door and have not locked the actual door.
Right. Okay. And okay, so that would be you, I suppose, not focusing on what you're doing.
Yep.
Would that lead to stress? Would you be thinking afterwards, did I lock that door? Did I lock that door?
Yeah.
And eventually you'd go back to check.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it is, telephone is the most distracting thing, really, isn't it? When we try to talk on the phone, or we're trying to do something else that we should be doing, we're talking on the phone, it's very, very easy to get distracted.
When you're typing an email and then you start typing what you're saying on the phone. You look at it and go, gee.
Well, hopefully you didn't send that email.
I've done that many times without sending it and copped on that I've typed out what I've been saying on the phone.
Okay, very good. All right, so pressure is part of every day, whether it's a small or ordinary inconvenience or something overwhelming, personal or professional, that stretches over weeks, months, and perhaps years. But only a small part of life is dedicated to what happens to you. The vast majority of life is dictated about how we handle what happens to you. This principle also applies to pressure. It is inevitable. So impact is dictated by how you react to it. Here are 5 healthy, productive ways to respond to pressure. Prioritize. If you are confronted by a major source of pressure, a project, a personal crisis, etc., instead of thinking about the entire situation and getting overwhelmed, immediately start to break things down into steps. Determine what needs to be done right now and what can wait. Then determine what needs to be done first, second, and third. Breaking up the larger situation into smaller tasks will make an overwhelming situation feasible. And as you check these things off your to-do list, you will gain composure and get a handle on things. And that's, whatever it is, whether it's a project at work or a personal thing, if you're taking on a project and you feel it's huge, the best thing to do is break it down into mini projects and prioritize them. I'm sure you've all done that at some stage, or you do it without even realizing that you're doing it, I would imagine. Foster healthy responses. When we are stressed and overwhelmed, it is easy to fall into bad habits. Eating and drinking unhealthy things, consuming too much caffeine, not sleeping, not exercising, generally not taking care of ourselves at all. It's easy to rationalize these habits when you're stressed, but taking care of yourself when you're under pressure actually gives you more energy and helps you focus. How many of you guys take your coffee intravenously?
I used to.
I'm sure it'll come in patches in a few years anyway.
So who drinks a lot of coffee?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
I would, yeah.
Does it? What do you think it does for you? Is it because you think it calms you down? Do you think it gives you a buzz? Do you think or you just like the taste of it?
It wakes you up. I like the taste of it as well. Then I do think the distraction of just drinking something while you're driving, can tend to keep you awake during the evening. The fact that you're drinking it over the space of 20 minutes.
Okay. Anyone else? So I mean, okay, coffee. It can, it can affect you. Does anyone here? Okay, so here's one for you. So I'll go on. Shanann, how many cups of coffee do you have a day?
I could have about 5 or 10.
5 or 10?
Yeah.
Most people would say 5 or 6. Or
No.
2. Would you go 5 or 10? Right. So if you didn't have any coffee tomorrow, how do you think you would be?
Be a bitch. No, I like my coffee. I mean, it wakes me up in the morning. I need it when I get up in the morning, and I need it to do things during the day.
Okay, so what? Okay, what can coffee actually help you do?
It's like a timeout,
Sorry?
It's like a timeout that you just kind of have like 5 minutes peace, and you're like, right, I'm going to get this done.
All right.
It gives you headspace.
Gives you headspace.
Yeah.
Does anyone else feel that way?
A small routine for me.
Sorry, what's that?
It would be more routine for me to have a cup of coffee first thing in the morning.
Right. Oh, Sam. So you just have the 1 cup of coffee in the morning, and that's it?
Oh, and then every 3 hours after that.
I to be honest, for me, it's habit. It's like the person that smokes. They get into the car, they have a cigarette. They hit a certain point in the road, they have a cigarette.
Yeah.
They arrive at work, they have a cigarette.
But do you not think there's a crash off it as well? Like that, I think you end up drinking it because the first cup of coffee, there is definitely a kick off drinking coffee. Like I drink a can of Monster, which I'm sure is probably the equivalent of about 6 cups of coffee. But there's no way I can drink that until about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the evening heading into work. It's like if I have that early on in the day, it's like by 12 o'clock, I'll start to have a caffeine crash and probably a sugar crash and everything else that's in it as well. But again, 12 o'clock in the evening is time to go and have, a double espresso, and then probably have another coffee then at 4 o'clock in the morning.
But for me, if I drink coffee, I'm after cutting down my consumption of coffee, I would say. But I remember if I went without a cup of coffee all day, I'd actually have violent headaches by the end of the evening.
I used to be like that.
Because I didn't have coffee.
Hmm.
That can be good for you.
That explains the headaches.
Yeah. And I say this as I'm drinking a cup of coffee.
I've OD'd on coffee a couple of times.
What's that, Sam?
I've actually OD'd on coffee a few times,
Okay.
and it's a bad feeling.
Yeah, I had a fella OD on coffee in the car beside me. He was a heavy bloke, and that's it. He had a couple of cans of what was it, Blue Bear or Red Bull or something, and he was having palpitations
It is
after.
bad.
Yeah.
How many cups of coffee would that take? Like,
Were you going to try it?
It's more strength than cups of coffee. Like I'd easily throw 3, maybe 4 scoops of coffee into 1 cup.
So scoops. You do, what? How many, Sam?
3 or 4. The first thing in the morning, it could be 4 spoons of coffee.
that's not
Okay.
coffee, that's tar.
Well, that's what I mean. Strength more than quantity. That's what do it.
It's not good for you. It's not good for you. And
know
it will affect your, you're better off just doing some exercise.
You need a cup of coffee to get the energy to do the exercise.
No, you see, this is the thing, guys. You don't. When you actually exercise, the exercise actually gives you more energy.
Yeah, no, I have noticed, like, definitely, even eating fruit in the morning, it's like without coffee, will give you, just as much of a kick to go and do exercise than coffee would.
Mhm. Okay, so there we go, right? So make sure you're eating healthy food like lean proteins, vegetables, and healthy carbs. Drinking lots of water and setting aside some time to exercise. Take some time to meditate at the beginning and the end of each day. Also helps you clear your mind and is a peaceful, healthy way to begin. So a healthy way to the beginning and end of your day, especially when life is chaotic. Spend time with friends and family, go outside and breathe fresh air. You will handle pressure with more focus and grace if you cultivate healthy responses to stress. Make sure you take care of yourself. Like I said, guys, I teach yoga on the side, and was it mindfulness and wellness on the side?
As well as how many cups of coffee?
I just had one cup. My first cup of
Just
coffee.
one.
This is my first cup of coffee today, believe it or
You're
not.
such a hypocrite.
Excuse me.
You heard what I said.
How could I be a hypocrite?
Mindfulness.
This is my first cup of coffee today.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm only here for the sideshow.
Right. Change your
Highlight
plans.
of my week.
Okay. So when how many of you listened to the pre-record yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Today. Okay, that's okay. You listen to it, that's fine. But we talk about change management and things like that. So do you think that could be a stressful time in the workplace?
Yeah.
It depends on the manager that's coming in, I suppose. Depends on what. Like,
It's not so much the manager coming in, but change itself, overall change.
Yeah. We're having it at the moment in our place, but it's kind of coming in a sneaky way that we're not supposed to know about it, but everybody knows about it, that kind of way.
Okay, so what's the change, Pat? Are you
Well,
know?
our supervisor isn't our supervisor anymore, and everything is coming direct from head office, and you're there kind of when what exactly is going on here, and and of course you have the lads then putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 17 and a half.
So why is your supervisor not your supervisor anymore?
Probably because he was our supervisor.
Okay.
I think there's a bit of political wrangling going on myself, but that's we're not being told about it, if you know what I mean.
And see, and that's the problem. There's
Yeah.
the problem straight away. When things are changing in the workplace, everybody needs to know, because what happens is, like you said there, rumors start.
Mhm.
People start getting worried in, okay, am I going to have my job by the end of the week? Or what's going to happen? All these kind of things. Am I going to be doing something else? Am I going to do that? What happens? You get stressed. So change of management can be stressful. Right, decisions need to be made about what practical solutions or control measures should be used in the workplace to prevent or eliminate or minimize the effect of work-related stressors on workers' health. Change of management can be stressful for workers to worry about. The loss of a job. This is a major reason and the first reason why employees resist change in the workplace. In an organizational setting, any process, technology, advancement, systems or product change will include streamlining, working smarter, cost reduction, efficiency, faster turnaround times. All these mean staff and managers will resist the changes that result in their roles being eliminated or reduced. From their perspective, your change is harmful to their position in the organization. The satisfaction that employees have with their job determines a portion of their reactions during times of change. Employees who experience a high degree of job satisfaction are better able to weather periods of change. They are more positive in their approach to their work, and they can see change as an organizational necessity. Unhappy employees, on the other hand, view change as just another annoyance in a long list of complaints. Chances are, whatever the change, any disgruntled employees will view it as having a negative impact on both the organization and on them personally. So, again, question out to the group. Have any of you gone through, say, been with a company or organization that has changed, whether it's been how they changed their systems of work, changed their I don't know, their process, they've changed their what's the word I'm looking for?
Business model.
Their business model, but also their look. They've changed their image. No one?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
A new manager came in and he wanted to get rid of all the old policies, even though everything was working. He felt new position. He felt intimidated by people who were there 20 years plus, and he decided he wanted to get rid of the old and bring his own new into it. So everyone that was involved in the setting up and the running of things was pushed to the side, and he decided he'd start coming in and making changes himself. And obviously people left and things went to shit.
Okay, can I ask you a question, Shannon? You said that he wants to come in, he wanted to change all the policies and things like that, even though they've been working on for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Maybe they weren't working on for the last 20 years. Sometimes a fresh pair of eyes come in, can see things differently.
Yeah, but like, I mean, we all have SOPs, we all have health and safety risk assessments that we need to go through. We all have to tick the boxes to make sure that things are compliant and everyone is going through the same thing. There was things that, go on.
Yeah, no, go ahead, go on. No, I'm waiting on you to finish.
So, like, I mean, you have to do certain things certain ways. There's a standard SOP there, it's a national thing that you have to do. And he decided that it was the boys' club and he wanted to bring his own in and do it his way or the highway, basically. So, and it didn't, 20 people were disgruntled over it and things just went to pot.
But you see, and I'm playing the devil's advocate here now, right? So don't shoot the messenger here. But maybe the 20 people who were disgruntled, maybe they were the old boys club.
No.
They were the guys that were there for the last 20 years doing things the way they wanted to do.
No, because I mean, he was putting health and safety and people's lives at risk, and it wasn't the way it's supposed to be done. I mean, there's a reason why there's policies and procedures. There's a reason why we follow ABC with health and safety.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that. But what I'm saying to you is, yeah, just because there's policies and procedures there, that doesn't mean they're the correct ones. And that doesn't mean that policies and procedures can be improved upon.
Also,
Oh,
that's
no, we're all agreed for things to be approved upon, but I mean, if there's a reason, like if there's bog standard health and safety risk assessments, they're done for a reason. We all know how it works. You can fix it, you can implement it, but you can't take it away. If someone turns up to a site and they don't have the correct PPE on, they're working on a building site, they don't have the correct PPE on, and they're doing something that they're not trained to do. They're not supposed to do it. So is it okay for someone to go in and actually do a job they're not qualified to train on? They haven't done manual handling, so they can't do a manual handling thing. They haven't trained on certain aspects of the job that they should have been trained on. So you're telling me that I can get Tom to walk into a site that he's no training and no qualifications or experience?
No. I never said that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But that's what happens. That is,
Oh, no, yeah, but it's
that is
wrong,
what
like.
happens. And the others, like we've all seen the signs, be it on a restaurant, shop, whatever it is, under new management. And that's what the management come in, is they come in and they put their own stamp on things. And then the other side as well is if you do have a company with 20 employees, with people that are there years, that there's no way, the only way you're getting rid of somebody that's there 20 years is redundancy through the labour courts. Or you go and change things to the point that people end up leaving. It's like, and it's the same with every single company. It's, management will push staff out by making the work environment uncomfortable or unfavorable.
Or unsafe.
Yeah, rather than sacking people. And even like our place, we'll get asked to go on the sites, and you are untrained to go on. Like our training is minimal. Like our training is supplied by each driver to one another. But you are walking onto building sites and places that you've never been. It's full of like possible litigation and accidents. That's where the common sense thing has to come into it. Like. Which is 100% different from the doors I get. Like, I know the doors are a completely different scenario altogether. But I wouldn't be surprised if the new manager that came in onto the doors came in with the orders of the owner that I need to get new staff on the doors. It's like I make life uncomfortable for the existing staff that are there.
Where are we talking about now?
When Shanann was saying that the new manager came in, I'm assuming she was
talking.
Oh,
no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't doors. It was a total thing.
Oh, right. Sorry, I thought you were talking about the doors.
No.
But even then, regardless, it's I've seen it happen, and that's management just put you on shitty hours. They put you on the shitty site, and eventually people just decide to move on their own accord.
But why do you think that is?
Because you can't sack people for no reason. If people are doing their job, but they're not willing to change and go with the change.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem. They're not willing to change, even though the organization or the company wants to change. It wants to be with the times. They don't want to be doing things the way they were doing things 20 years ago. They need to move with the times, so they need to change things. But yet you have the guys who are there for the last 20 years, they don't want to change. I've been doing this for the last 20 years. I'm going to continue doing it this way. Is that right?
I was specifically sent in on a site by the client as a new manager to deal with lads who were there 20, 30 years. It wouldn't change. Like there was stuff like the rosters were done on paper and stuck to the wall. They weren't using their apps. They didn't want to do that. I don't do computers. That's what I was told. The shirts were open with no ties, and obviously I came in and I said, look, lads, you have to start wearing ties, and obviously there's pushback. Then we never had to wear ties before. It looked like a trampoline and again the bin there, like stuff like that. But
that's a positive change, and I mean that has to be for a professional standard, and I
totally
agree with that. Like
those guards, I was the devil. Like
of course you are, but like I mean you were doing it in a positive way. You were doing it to develop in a positive way.
The way
and I don't.
The way Eddie's kind of trying to describe the situations where it always looks bad. Now, I'm not saying what you're saying. Lad taking away safety precautions is a moron, but
oh no, he was like, and I mean it's still going through the courts at the moment. Like, but I mean, there was people's lives put at risk.
Sorry, Shanann. If there's something going through courts at the moment, we cannot discuss it.
Right. Okay.
All right, sorry about that, but I think that's it. That's in the course because this is obviously this has been recorded.
Fair enough.
Most sites that are like have lads a long time will resist any change, whether it's for their benefit or not. They'll just people don't like they don't like to see change.
That's the
It
point I
doesn't, it
was
doesn't
trying to.
make any
that's-
difference what it is, whether it's a job in a factory or whether we're talking about security or whatever. You know, you'd always have lads who say, why the hell should I do it that way? I've been doing it this way
Yeah.
all the time. And like, there's been nothing wrong with that. You know, so it's not just a security business where people will be resistant to change. They're resistant to change in factory jobs, in some office jobs and everything else.
Oh yeah, and we're not just talking about security here.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
We're talking about we're talking about change in general, and it does
Yeah.
affect people. It
Mm.
does affect people. We were just discussing about here, and
Oh no, I know, yeah.
you know, but what we're trying to say is right that I own, or one of you guys, you know, is the managing director of, or you're the owner of an organization or company. And you maybe say you inherited from someone that, you know, it's passed on to you, whatever, family business, whatever it is, okay? And they're still doing things the way they did things 30 years ago. And we're falling behind all our competitors. Why? Because our processes are slow, our workers are slow, and things like that. I want my company to be up there with my competitors. If I have to do that, then I have to change things, the way we do things in there.
But that's why there's audits, like, I mean, to make sure that everyone is compliant and up to date.
No, that's not why we have audits. We have audits, no. That audit's not there because everything is up to date. Audits are there for different reasons.
Yeah, but I mean, that is one reason. Like, I mean, you see certain competitors having audit and saying, right, we need to assess how this is working. We reevaluate how come OCS are getting more
Yeah, but-
staff.
yeah,
They're
but-
better than
But what-
whatever
yeah,
competitor.
what-
Jesus, I
what-
wish.
But what I'm saying to you is the guy that's after taking over this organization, they've been doing things that way for the last 30 years. He wants to change them now. He wants to get on the same level par with his competitors. And to do that, he has to change things.
Manager's no different. You know, the manager that's been managing a company for 30 years doesn't want to change how he's doing things either. You know, I'm sure he goes into, you know, autopilot, the same as the supervisors don't want to change.
Oh, absolutely, but it's how it's, see, this is the thing. It's how it's managed from the very, very top down. It's how it's managed. You have to get, if you want to change things, and those of you who listened to me yesterday will have heard how it should be done. You need to get a team on board. You will always have the people who are for it, you'll have the people who are totally against it, and you'll have the people who are on the fence. They'll decide whichever is way best for him. They'll go with the majority. You know, you'll have that. It's how it's managed. Get your team around you, a good positive team around you to develop this. Make it, you need to sell it to your employees that if we do it this way, your job will be actually easier. You will have more time, whatever it is. Instead of you breaking your back doing it this way for 8 hours, you get, you know, the same job done in 4 hours with half the effort. And whatever way you sell it to them, that's what you have to do. You know, just coming in and going, stamping your foot, right, we're doing this now, this way on the highway, out you go. That don't work. That will never work. That's what I'm talking about, change. Change has to be done systematically and communication. Pat was saying it there a minute ago. There's something going on in his workplace. Nobody knows what's going on, but there is something going on.
Yeah.
Rumors are starting. And by the end of it, God only knows what will be after happening with the rumors that are going on, because people are not being told. You need to communicate with people as things are happening. Even if there's setbacks, you need to communicate that to your people. Right, there's a little bit of setback, but we'll get over that and we'll move on.
Resistance to change can be more in smaller companies than in some larger companies. A lot of larger companies buy in more into the whole change management thing. Whereas smaller companies, it could be, well, like, feck it, if you don't like it, there's the door.
So how many of you guys have worked in a company that's been taken over by another company?
Me, I have.
Everyone. How was that? There was a change, right? How did that go for you? Were you just did you just come in next morning and said, right, there's no uniform, away you go?
Pretty much.
Okay, so there was no communication whatsoever.
3 months into the takeover, I met one of them.
Yeah.
I was tasked with the job to have to go around and get all the new contracts signed, employment contracts.
You were sorry, say that again, Sam?
When the new company took over, I had to go around all staff and get them to sign the new employment contracts
Right.
because the old one weren't valid anymore because the old company didn't exist.
Okay.
So we had to go.
What did you just give a piece of paper to sign? By the way, you just signed your new contract of employment, was that?
Oh no, it was a full proper contract, an employment contract.
Right. Okay.
And we knew this was happening, and then when it happened, it was I had to go around 20, 30 men, get them to sign it, look at it, read it, sign it.
Yeah.
Were you a manager?
I was a bit of everything, supervisor, manager, gobshite, you name it, I was there.
But I suppose that's the way it is with smaller companies. You know, one guy will wear many hats.
Yeah.
I
7 days a
actually,
week, by.
I actually remember coming into work one morning, and there was 4 of us, and we all got a text. You are now employed by Welcome Aboard. We were looking at each other like, what? It was Noonan's.
Right.
And 3 months later, then the old boss came in the door and started ripping down all the old signs of the old company. Get them down off the wall quickly, they're on the way. And that was that. Here's the tie, here's the shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
Last year I was working for Synergy doing mobile response, and during with those 5 vans on the road during the night, and remember coming in for the night shift, and we used to have box of keys, and for some strange reason they changed the box with these big heavy duty chains tie strapped to it, and it was an absolute bowls. So it was.
That's going backwards.
It was back. You see, what happened was
we just upgraded from the chains to the boxes.
see, what happened was down in Cork, head office in Cork, they wouldn't have as much key holding as we would have had in Dublin. So it was working in Cork, so they adapted it to Dublin, but not thinking we'd have 3-4 times more keys than them.
Yeah.
It was mental. And we fought it, but we thought, listen, it's in now, it's not been changed, deal with it. Keys were going lost, key tags were being lost, new people coming in hadn't a clue what they were at. But you look at that Synergy.
See, it always sounds like the grass is greener on the other side. All security companies are the exact same.
Yeah.
Well, I think Securitas system there with the key safe or the key vault is a great idea.
Yeah, costs an absolute fortune though.
Oh,
the
I think they can afford it.
the only difference between the security companies is the name.
Yeah.
They all operate the exact same way, to be honest.
Well, like, you freeze and look at any security company, you can guarantee that the management in them probably have worked for at least 3 different security companies. And there's not that many security companies in Ireland.
Well, there is.
There's not that many big players.
Big ones, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's like hundreds of small ones.
There's not really hundreds of small ones.
There is. I mean, how many can you like? I could.
Private contractors, there will be because down the country, like most of even the way Securitas do it, most of our regional stuff is subbed out to subcontractors, and that's just a lad with a van, probably himself and his son, looking after the whole of bloody Offaly or something, and they're looking after 6 or 7 contracts down there. It's and I'd say there's a good platter them where it's just one van, they do a little bit of key holding and a little bit of alarm response.
That would have been me and my first security company when I first started off.
Pocket full of keys.
Pocket full of keys. We were getting subcontracts for Synergy, and then I moved to Synergy.
Okay, shall we move on? Yeah. So what's the one thing here before we were? What's the one thing you'll always find in a security hut, office, or gatehouse, whatever it is?
Kettle.
Someone sleeping.
Apart from those two things, a
Heater.
box or a drawer full of keys that nobody knows anything about.
Oh yeah. When you get a new set of keys, it just goes on to the old set of keys.
Just in case.
Just in case you don't know why you'll ever need it, even though you knew the locks were drilled off the building. You still hang on to them. You might fit another lock somewhere.
You go into some of these places and there's keys in there, older than yourself.
We had bunches of keys inside in Debenhams before, when it was closed down, and we hadn't a bull's notion what in the name of God they were for. We had about 6 keys that we used all the time, and then there was the rest of them there. It's kind of what the, So.
That's
Okay.
it. You find most of them sets, it'll be a big bunch of keys, and there'll be one key ring then with 6 keys on it, and they're the only 6 keys that are needed for the building. The rest of the key ring is just obsolete and rusty.
Ornaments.
Yeah, I work in a gatehouse and there's only 2 keys that we actually used. There's a whole locker of keys, and honestly, I couldn't tell you what they're for. I do the audit every month, but I've never given them out to anyone. I've never used them for anything. Don't even know what they're for.
Okay. Right. Shock and fear of the unknown. This is yet another crucial reason why employees resist change. Employees' responses to organizational change can range from fear and panic to enthusiastic support. During periods of change, some employees may feel the need to cling to the past because it was more secure. It was a more secure, predictable time. If what they did in the past worked well for them, they may resist changing their behavior out of fear that they will not receive as much in the future. The less the organization knows about the change and the impact on them, the more fearful they become. Leading a change also requires not springing surprises on people. The organization needs to be prepared for the change. In the absence of continuing two-way communication with leadership, grapevine rumors will find the void and sabotage any change effort. And they will. Rumors are the ruination of a lot of things in this country. Loss of control.
That
This
goes back
is
to gossip, though, really, doesn't it?
What's that?
That goes back to gossip, really, doesn't it? Like, did you hear about your man? It was...
Oh, actually, did you hear about the Tesco shop in Tullamore today or last night?
Yes, I did.
Not one of yours.
That's not a shop.
Jeez, that reminds me, I was supposed to lock Tesco's and Innis tonight.
So you'll hear about that one in the morning.
Oh, I know about it. You never spoke to me. I have enough. I heard about that today at 4 o'clock on a call about that in Tullamore.
Yeah,
The area manager was telling us, and everyone else in the meeting just went silent. Jesus Christ. Oh, Tesco never ends, boy.
Every little helps.
Like the night you come into Finglas on a horse.
Okay, so shock and fear. I just read that, didn't I? I did.
No.
I did.
You did, yeah.
I did. Yeah, so you weren't listening to me. Loss of control. This is a key reason why employees resist change. Familiar routines help employees develop a sense of control over their work environment. Being asked to change the way they operate may make employees feel powerless and confused. People are more likely to understand and implement changes when they feel they have some form of control. Keeping the doors of communication open and soliciting input, support, and help from employees, let them know that their contributions matter. Involve them, elect their feedback, let them volunteer for participatory roles in the change, and all of these in turn will help give them a sense of control during the period of change. It was like what Keith was saying there a few minutes ago. Went into this site where they wanted to change things around, and these guys, like he said, this is the way we've been doing for the last 20 years. We're not going to change.
I find that especially with technology, any of the new apps or any of that, they just. I've lads that need a pay. I had lads that time that wanted their pay slip posted to their house, and you're like, Jesus Christ.
A brown envelope.
I'm telling them, you can literally see it on your phone whenever you want. You can access it. No, I want an envelope. Okay, you're not touching my phone. It's my phone.
Isn't that? Do you think that, how to say, they're afraid of it because they haven't been shown?
I think in some cases that's the case, but like some of them won't even allow you to show because they're that stubborn. They're digging their heels in and they're saying, you're not coming in here and changing things. No, I do know what you're saying. They haven't been shown. I have had guys who would say, no, you showed them, they're fine. And then they're telling you every day how great it is.
Mhm.
Then you've also lads, and like I say, you won't be sending me anything on my phone. It's my phone. It's not going to blow up or anything. It's
But to be honest with you, and I'm sure you know this, but
Yeah.
a lot of this has to do, it's fear.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
It's fear, and that's why a lot of these, you know, we covered it there. Like it feels like they're losing control, whereas, you know, they had their roster up on the board on a piece of paper that they could have a look at it whenever they want, besides having to go into a phone app. It's like they're losing control of what they've been doing for the last 5-10 years.
Yeah, like that. I came across the first day and I was shown how everything goes. This is how we do it. That's how we do it. And that's the way the roster's done. And that's, you're thinking, I've literally been sent here to sort of try and change all of this. And you're being sent in by the client because they're not happy with how it's been run either. Like they're, you know, like I give you an example. I used to say, I was there about a week and I asked them, how do you clock in, lads? Oh, we don't clock in. They trust us to be here. Like, okay, I'm not saying I don't trust you, but I used, like, if you're on the way into work, like there was a few dark stairs up say a big, it was a shopping centre, so they're going up the back stairs into the back, and I said, what if you fall, break your neck, and they trust you to be here, and you're dead in the corridor till 9 o'clock when some lad comes in through your like, that's how I put it to them. And he started thinking then, and he said, yeah, but like stuff like that, you just we brought in the, you know, the geofencing and all of that, so we knew where they were and they were clocking in and everything. But again, this stuff takes time. I think the worst thing you can do is just come in and just like the text message. This is it now. That's it. You're gonna blow the whole thing out of the water.
Especially if these guys have been there a long time. And we're not just talking about security here, guys. We're talking about all forms of industry here. Guys have been doing the same thing for 20 years, and there's a new team in town. They want to change things up. They want to smarten things up. And what happens is, they're not told. They're not asked. They're told. Instead of recruiting these guys to get them on your side and get them to educate them on why we're doing this, rather than just doing it and tell them this is what they have to do now. And it might sound like we're playing a game, and I suppose in the way we are, we want this change to happen as smoothly and as effortlessly as possible. And the more people you have on board with this change, the more smoother and the more effortlessly it will be.
Like I would say I'm yet to see, you know, Tesco have a lot of technology where, like, everything with Tesco is apps and technology, and I've yet to see anything that made a security job harder. It's always to the benefit.
I agree.
A lot of this stuff actually comes from Tesco themselves, and you're surprised security companies haven't come up with it before them. Like their key systems and stuff is all Tesco. They run all that, like, and it's as good as I've seen. When you were describing the keys everywhere that no one knows, you'll never see that in a Tesco. And it's not down to us, it's down to Tesco.
Yeah.
Their system is like a traffic light. They have the red, amber, green in order of importance. You sign out the key with an app, and then you're actively live on the app. So if they say who has the key, everyone in the store can look at the app. Johnny has that key, or who had it at 2 o'clock. You know, it's all live and recorded. And the red keys are only allowed to the top management and security and stuff like that. So it's as good as I've seen. And again, it's all for the benefit of security guards.
It's a great, it is a great, how many of us, okay, how many of us have a lot of set of keys?
You said last?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I haven't, but I know a fellow who has.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I'm going to go back to Sam there for a second, right? Sam, you were talking about Synergy in their head office in Cork.
Yeah.
I worked for them before they were Synergy, when they were just starting out back in Cork, and I was there.
Express.
Express, yes.
Okay.
What are you shaking your head for? Say whatever it is you have to say, please. Okay. So I was out with them one time. I was working for them for about 5 years, I'd say, and I had a great time with them. But I actually lost a whole chain of keys.
My God.
Uh-oh.
Jesus. How long were you working for them again?
I was told I was told I lost a whole chain of keys. I know I didn't. It was a guy that took over from me lost them. I tried to tell me that said, oh, they weren't there when I took over.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing about them chains. You don't lose one key, you lose about 20.
The whole freaking lot of them.
Yeah, it's mental. It's a strange system.
Mhm.
At least if it's a key box, you lose one set, you lose one premises. Not too hard to get another set, but you lose the chain. There's 30 different clients there.
Sure, I heard one of the security vans going on fire, and that's it. When it was put down, the lads going out to the key boxes and trying to pick out the keys, whatever keys were bloody salvageable. But like,
That's
it
what- yeah.
has to cost a small, like, fortune, depending on how many keys are there to replace all the locks in the building.
It's worse too if a client has his own tag on it, then you know exactly where you're going.
Well, that's it. It doesn't matter what the tag is. I'm assuming all them are getting disintegrated anyway. First thing to go.
Oh, in the fire, I meant if a van got broken into.
Yeah, if you lose the set altogether.
Yeah.
Okay, so loss of the support system. Employees are already in their comfort zones, working with the managers they get along with and who are operating with predictable routines, know the support system and will back them up during challenging times. Changing the organizational structure may shake their confidence in their support system. They may worry about working for a new supervisor in a new team or on unfamiliar projects because they fear that if they try and fail, there will be no one there to support them. And it does happen. How to support change. Ensure the person communicating the change has the skills and authority to do so. If necessary, train managers or supervisors to support workers through periods of change. Give workers the background and reasons behind the change. Explain what the organization wants from the change, the key objectives, and discuss expected outcomes and timeframes with the workers. Be upfront about any significant adjustments that will follow the proposed change. For example, a restructure or the need to retrain workers. Establish a communication system, for example, meetings or emails that keeps workers up to date with developments. Communicate developments quickly, preventing the spread of rumors. Try to have an open door policy for workers who want to discuss their concerns with their managers or supervisors. Advise workers of the decision, both verbally and in writing. It all sounds very good, doesn't it?
One
Well,
thing I can see is companies are very bad at this.
Yeah.
They are. Sometimes they don't consider. They don't consider the employees, the guys who are, you know, without them they wouldn't have this organization or this company.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So guys, we have got, what time have we got? Anyone have time? 8:05.
8:08.
8:05.
Right.
9:30.
I unfortunately do have to go because I have to do skill demonstration assessments in 25 minutes.
I actually missed the start of the class. Were you on about skills demos? Sorry,
Sorry, were we at about what?
skill demonstrations at the start.
No, this was all kind of part of the what
You know, you were given the dates for the skill demo, remember? So
Yeah, but this is all part of what your skill demo, what you're talking about, change management and all that. Yeah, no, what I want, the change management is part of your skills demo. That's what
I know, but I missed the first 5 minutes of this.
We were only
I-
talking about you, Shanann.
All right.
I think too, your provisional dates, it was either 17th or 18th or 18th or 19th. You weren't 100% certain.
Well, I have it written down somewhere. I have it in my diary. It's either 17th or 18th or the 18th and 19th. I think it's the 17th and 18th of November. It's a Thursday and Friday, the last week of the module.
Okay, do we book in or do you just subscribe us the place?
I will. What I'll do is I'll do out a schedule. I'll send it to Jenny. She will send you on then the schedule with your individual links. So you'd each have your own link to come on Zoom to do your presentation.
Also, the questions you're going to ask us, so we'll be ready for you.
I will do up some questions for you. Okay.
Oh, good man. I was only joking.
But there'll only be 1 or 2 questions anyway, so don't worry too much about it. And if I do ask a question, it's going to be about what we just spoke about or what you just spoke about. So you know what you have to do, guys. Your presentation is for 25.
It's 5 minutes.
It is 25 minutes. 5 minutes then on a reflection on what you learned on the module, and a couple of questions from me. One thing you can say on what you learned on the module is that Eddie is an a-hole. That won't be accepted. Okay.
Right. That was actually 20 minutes of my skills demonstration.
Thanks very much, Sam.
I just wonder why Shanann is on mute there and she's just biting her lip.
Anyway, so that's it, guys. I would love to stay and chat for the rest of the day. Unfortunately, I can't, and I know that you really don't want to be listening to me anymore tonight. That's
Thanks
okay.
very much, Eddie.
You're allowed to
Thanks,
agree with
Eddie.
me on that one. All right, I should talk to you all soon, guys.
Bye.
Again, any questions you have for me, drop me a line or give me a
Oh,
buzz. Yeah?
can you throw up the PowerPoint whenever you get a chance? The PowerPoint presentation.
I'll put them up there straight away. I put up the pre-record from yesterday, and I'll put up tonight
Aye.
as well. Okay.
Good man. Cheers.
Okay.
All right,
Thanks
guys.
very much, Eddie.
Cheers, Eddie.
Hey,
Talk to you all later.
Right now.
Eddie,
Bye-bye.
thanks.
All right, take care, guys. Bye bye.